All right, hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm just showing off my one-page rules Age of Fantasy army. I've played a couple of games with this with these models. Used a few different types of lists, few different army lists. But I'm just gonna go over how I made this list, how I built this army. It's a very one-page rules type of army. It's very cobbled together with tons of different model manufacturers and different STLs and stuff like that. But I have tons of fun playing with this army. I love it. I think it looks great. I love the aesthetic. It can be a little inconsistent here and there, but anyway, well, I'm gonna get into what I did, how I built this list, how I built this army. I've only ever ran up to a 1,500 point game. I think I've played 3 games with these models, 3 games. I ran 2 games with them as Chivalrous Kingdoms with a giant mercenary. So there's our giant. I just use the giant Triumph profile. I use him as a Crusher giant. He's actually pretty tough. He's tough 12. He's furious. He's fearless. He's got 10 attacks at AP1 with that flail, and then 2 attacks AP2 with his stomp. But those are deadly 3 apiece, so he can hit pretty hard and furious. So if he rolls a 6, those deadly 3 attacks are pretty good. And he's quality 4, defense 3, so not bad, especially if you buff him with some spells, especially the spells that the Chivalrous Kingdoms and Human Empire get. But anyway, we'll go into how I run them as Chivalrous Kingdoms, and then we'll go, if I want to switch them over to the Human Empire, I did run a game with that, and I added some Griff Riders with a Battle Master, and then some Master Battle Mages, and then I just used my 2 Wizards here and added them to this other group of Wizards, made a Mage Council, and so that gives me a lot of casting. I think the game I ran a Mage Council and then 2 Master Battle Mages. So that gave me 11 casting points a turn. So that was actually pretty cool. That was the only game I lost. The other 2, with just Chivalrous Kingdoms, I won. But I got to figure out how to best use those spells, all those spell tokens. I feel like I wasted a lot, and that's a lot of points. You're investing in so many points into those casters. You got to know how to use them right, and I just don't think I used them right. Whereas when I just ran a Chivalrous Kingdoms twice, I did win both those games. I played 1 game against a Duchies of Vinci Empire list, and another game against the Mummified Undead, and I ended up winning both those pretty handily. Wasn't too close, and I was really happy with how this army did. But anyway, we'll get into the army I have here. We'll go left to right, I guess. So starting over here, we have a unit of 10 men-at-arms with a banner, and can upgrade with Sergeant too. And then I also have a musician. If I wanted to give them musician, I could. And I either upgrade them with spears or halberds. I usually do spears for this unit just because it's nice to have a unit with counter. And then I'll usually join, if I bring a champion, if I bring one of these guys, one of the high champions, I'll give him, a great weapon, and then Realm Defender, giving the whole unit quality 4. So then they'll have counter with quality 4, so that's pretty good. And with the banner, they'll have +1 to their morale roll. So they will probably just be really good at sitting on an objective somewhere, holding it down. Moving over this way, I got a unit of 10 peasants. This unit is, the reason why they're up front is because that's what they do in the game. They are the chaff. They are the run-up, get-killed unit. They're quality 6, defense 6. But they have a throwing attack, 12-inch range. That's really probably one of their pluses, but they're 45 points for 10 models. 45 points for 10 models. And so this is just going to be a little annoying to chew through those guys. They're a chaff unit. They get charged. Put them out front, they get charged, and then I can usually get a counter charge in either with my giant, my Lord on Pegasus, or my Foot Knights. And then this guy I haven't actually used him in a game, but I have this model just in case I want to add a Prophet. I think the Chivalrous can have a unit called Prophet. If you join him to a unit, it gives that unit regen, which I've thought about joining him to my Foot Knights, give the Foot Knights regen, but I usually end up just joining a caster to that unit. instead. Anyway, we got next unit. We got this unit of Foot Knights. Oh, well, I should say these are Highlands miniatures. All right, this guy is a Highlands miniature with a GW head, and this little shoulder piece is GW as well. And then these peasants are Fireforge. Just got them real quick, threw them together, cheap. I think 18 of them come in the box, so I could even make another unit of 10, probably throw in some other random models. And then this guy's also Fireforge. And then these guys back here, also the giant is Highlands miniature. And then these knights are Highlands miniatures with GW heads on them. I actually really love this unit. It's probably the unit I spend the most time on. I love how they came out. I think they look awesome. They're my pride and joy. They haven't really been too incredible for me in the games I've used them in, but they haven't been bad either. They've been a nice, threat to the enemy, because this unit of knights, so the unit of Foot Knights, 10 Foot Knights, full command, so Sergeant, Musician, and Banner, and I give them heavy great weapons. So they're AP 3, so they can pack a punch if they hit, and then I usually join a caster to them, so I can give them +1 to hit, +1 defense, and then charge them in, so, in the same turn. So that could be nice. I think that's worked out maybe once or twice. They clear units when they get into contact, if they have those buffs on them. So that can be nice. This is the wizard I normally join. This is a Reaper miniature. A Reaper miniature with just, it just looks like a classic kind of wizard guy. And then back here I got my Lord on Pegasus. This is the Tough 6, fast flying. He's got Joust when I use him for the Chivalrous King. So his impact is impact 2, which gives his impact hits AP 1. And then the Pegasus has an attack, and then he'll have 3 attacks with his lance. And then I usually give him Fear 3. So he can usually go in and clear out, the back line. So if they have like any shooting units, weaker units of 5 or something, single tough models, he can usually clear them pretty good. Also, causing fear. I just have him to fly around, be annoying. He's not that great of a hero, but, I have him in the army. He's fun. He's thematic. I like him. And then moving over here, we have my Trebuchet. I just did like a little diorama on a square base here. Again, Highlands miniatures. Got this off Etsy, 3D printed. Oh, all these 3D printed Highlands miniatures are from a seller on Etsy called Imperialminiatures. Go look him up. He has the best prints. As you can see, like, this is some flawless 3D printing. It is really nice. And they are not like brittle models. They're very like tough. I don't know what resin he uses, what printer, but it comes out so good. He printed this giant too. This giant looks, look at this. You can't even see any like mold line or layer lines or anything like that. So smooth, so sturdy. I love it. So him, and he a great price. He sells it one of the best pricings I've seen for the quality. So definitely check them out. I think it's either Imperial Miniatures or Empire Miniatures. I'll leave that in the description just to be sure. But if you don't have a 3D printer and you want some 3D printed models for a good price, he also printed this guy here. He printed this guy. Check him out. He is phenomenal. And he usually prints really fast and ships it really fast. So there's not a lot of wait time. And then over here we have another unit of 10 men-at-arms. These are just hand weapons. This is a unit cobbled together of a lot of stuff. We've got men-at-arms from Highlands Miniatures, men-at-arms from GW with other different parts on them. Older guys, like this is a Perry miniature. These are from the Frostgrave kit, these guys. This guy's a GW, but not very paid well. They're just an extra unit I use for chaff, throw them in there. Then I got another caster, another enchanter, level 3, or level 2. The Chivalrous can only get up to level 2 caster. He's a Reaper miniature. And then back here we got a unit of 10 longbows. I usually just give them a flame arrow so they got AP1, and then I upgrade them with sergeant and musician. I normally don't take the banner. I usually swap in. These are some extra archers I use to swap in for the banner. These are GW. These are also GW. Yeah, so sometimes I don't take the banner, but sometimes I do if I just have the extra points left over. So that's usually the list I run with the Chivalrous Kingdoms. I have another unit of Foot Knights that don't like really match the rest of it. If I have the points, I throw them in there. But yeah, this army has done me pretty good. The only thing is this trebuchet. I've brought it twice, two separate games. It's a quality 5 shot. It's 1 shot, quality 5, but it's either blast 6 or deadly 6. I've brought the blast 6, I think, twice. It's only ever hit once, and I hit it into one of my enemies, my opponent's chaff unit, and it did end up killing 6 of his models. He didn't make a save because it ended up being a 6-up save. He didn't end up making any saves. So after 2 games, shooting each round, so 8 shots, it hit once, killed 6 models. So, and it's 120 points. So, I don't know. I might try and find something to replace that. Maybe a unit of knights. And I know everyone says, I've put it, this army in, community feedback stuff, and people are like, why are you running the Chivalrous Kingdoms with no cav? I like the infantry look. I like it. I like a lot of infantry. I think it just, is how I like. And cav and OPR, if it's not heavy cav, kind of is not too great. And I know like there's better infantry options, but these are the models I got. This is the army I like running, and it's done me pretty good. This army has actually done me better than another army that I put cav in. But again, that's probably not the cavalry's fault. But maybe replacing that with some cav might be a good idea. I do have some models I could probably use to replace that. But anyway, this is what I would run with the Chivalrous Kingdoms list, plus a giant mercenary, right? Which I think up until recently, that was like the standard. Your army can have an ally as long as one army is at least 60% worth of the points and the other's only 40, which that is definitely within that. That's only like 30% or 20% or whatever it is. So it is legal. I don't know. It depends on if you're running like a tournament. I guess it's, up to the tournament organizer. If not, I'll just throw in something else or run this army as a human empire, which we'll get into now. If I'm running it as a human empire, I will swap out a couple of these casters. I'll use these guys, they're pretty much the same, infantrymen and men at arms. Everything is almost the same. These guys wouldn't be foot knights, they'd be elite weapon masters, so they would only able to get AP2 on their weapons instead of AP3. Not a huge deal. Other than that, they're exact same. These guys, my peasants, I would use as fanatics instead, which makes them better in combat, but it also makes them more expensive. So, and then the thing with the archers is the only archers like with bows that the Empire has is the mercenary hunters, and those guys suck and they're super expensive. So I don't know about that, but I haven't used them in the Human Empire list. The Lord on Pegasus is definitely weaker just because he doesn't have Joust anymore, which is, that hurts. And then there's not a Trebuchet in the Human Empire list, so maybe I could use this as a mortar or something, but I didn't use it in the game I played. But I normally add a Master Battle Mage. I switch this Master Battle Mage to join the Elite Weapon Masters. And then I would have a Mage Council. This is what I did. I had a Mage Council, so 5 wizards, and then I joined a Master Battle Mage to this unit. So this unit had 8 casting points whenever activated. He could cast spells, and then they could cast spells. So he would just cast spells, pull from these guys to boost them. So pretty much every spell was going off on a 2+. And then I added in this unit of Griff Riders. I don't know how they did pretty good. They wiped, I think, 2 like cheaper chaff units. I ran with a musician and a sergeant, And then I ran him with a battle master on a horse with a great weapon. And I upgrade him with the battle cleric or whatever it is to give the whole unit furious. So 6s would be extra hits. These guys are not bad. They're tough 3 apiece, so all of them tough 3. These guys are impact 2. He's only impact 1, so you're getting 7 impact hits on a charge. And then each of these guys gets an attack with the lance, which would be hitting on a 3, and then an attack with the claw, which would be hitting on a 4 on the charge. And then those are all AP1, so that's not terrible. And then he would have 3 attacks with his great weapon, hitting on 4s, yeah. So I charged him into like I think the second game I played was against, or the first game I played with this list, and the only game was against the Mummified Undead. The same list that these guys, my Chivalrous Kingdoms, beat pretty good the first time. The thing was, my Giant did pretty bad, and I think I was wasting my caster points. I wasn't, and I had my General, instead of Fear, I had him have March Order. So I don't think I used it all right. I didn't really plan it out that much. I didn't really use it to the best of my ability. But these guys did okay. They cleared like one of his unit of 10 skeletons like easily. Like a full unit of 10 skeletons. Skeleton War, it's just your basic. They're basically like men-at-arms, right? Cleared them, no problem. And then cleared another unit of like 5 archers, no problem. And then I charged him into his big, he had like a Sphinx, and that thing's defense 2. These guys just got destroyed by it. They couldn't deal with anything because they're only AP1, and he is only he's AP3, but hitting on 4s with only 3 attacks. So they did a couple. I think we were able to bring him down to half after a couple rounds, but they overall did not end up performing against a tough unit. They're good for clearing out weaker units. They're great, actually. They will clear out weaker units, no problem. I did roll really bad. Like, I sent my elite weapon masters in, gave them, or tried to cast, I had 6 caster points. Tried to give them +1 attack, +1 defense, and then try to shoot a fireball. I think I rolled a 1 like twice, and then the last one I failed somehow. But it was a good game. It was still close. But I think I would use these guys better. I would send them into maybe not such weak units like I sent them into, and maybe not such strong units. Like he had a couple of tough 3, defense 4, defense 3, units. They probably would have been best going into those guys. But, you live and you learn. But I do want to run that list again. I do want to add maybe switch something up. Like, I don't think this unit was a expensive unit right here, and he was able to get some of his fast units in my backline, and these guys are a glass cannon. They're all, they're qualified defense 5, so they went down. I think in the first time they got charged, they went down, which was my fault. I brought them forward, and I didn't really measure to see where his other guys were, and he was able to get in just barely and wipe these guys out. So I think I went the last turn without this unit, which was big, because that's a lot of casting points that I just didn't get. That could have been the game. But other than that, I really do. The thing is, I love these models, so I really like bringing them. I really like bringing this army as a Human Empire army, and I could even bring these guys. If it was a tournament or something with just, you can't bring allies, I could bring just these guys without the giant if I had to. But anyway, let me know what you think. I've been having a lot of fun with one-page rules and just making armies out of, whatever models I got, whatever models I think are cool. It might not, all look super in theme. They might not be painted the same or whatever, but I do love just painting models I like, putting them on the table. These Griff Knights, I got these on sale really cheap, actually. I think on eBay, and I painted them up. They're new in the box. Painted them up. I used contrast paints. I think I used all contrast paints on everything, So I'm happy. I've been using a lot of contrast paints lately. Pretty much everything here, except some of these men-at-arms, is contrast. And some of the little details. The Lord is mostly, the Pegasus is mostly contrast. These knights have no contrast though. I did these guys full on. Really happy with how they all came out. But anyway, been having lots of fun. This guy I got on eBay. He was already mostly painted. I just added some stuff, like all these yellow details, the green, this on his shield, the blue, the red. The horse was like a weird, it was like a gray blue. Just put a layer of black contrast paint over it and it turned out good. And then I did the base. So I'm happy with that. It was on eBay for super cheap, so happy with that. I do like the look of these guys though. But anyway, let me know what you think of this army. Let me think of like if there's any suggestions on how to run maybe a Human Empire list that's caster heavy. Where should I be using those casters? How should I be protecting them? I'm thinking I need to break these guys up because that is too much of a target, I think. I did give him, he did have ambush units, but I gave this guy a pet, pet animal. So he had warning cries, so he couldn't really get ambushed, which helped, but also they ended up getting destroyed right away. But anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any improvements I could make here. I know probably add some cavalry to the Chivalrous Kingdoms, but that list did good. So maybe I'll run that list again, see if it's just been a fluke, see if they can perform again. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.